Hello, guys, and welcome to the lower division here for Western Europe as we're watching the last match of the day. It's going to be the all-Nordic brawl, regardless of where they're from. To a degree, they all have a little bit of the heart in the north, even Russia. Goon Squad versus Chicken Fighters. They're going to be fighting it out for the second match of this best of three. First match went... honestly, it was a stomp, and Goon Squad absolutely destroyed Chicken Fighters, but we're hoping Chicken Fighters can come back for this game number 2. My name's Avo Plus, and I'm joined by my fellow co-worker and construction man, Seek and Strike Dota.
Yes, I think I'm the museum curator, and you're the one who finds. Of course, this is how all this in a what are these things made of? Marble, right? Yeah, they're marble. I just touched them for you.
Okay, cool. I'm collecting the marble. Yeah,
yep.
I have a bunch of prisoners here.
Well, this is how you just find them. You find them in the ground, or you just kind of like dig them up, and they come out as statues.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have this steak lady that helps me out. She brings me all these like exotic statues, very real life-like, right? Sometimes they talk though, which is the creepy part. But for the most part, I just ignore that, right?
Oh.
There's no dispel, so the statues stay the same.
Well, speaking of talking, we can now talk about our draft as it's now live on your screens. Second draft already getting ready to go. And Goon Squad have once again picked the Tiny. There was only, I believe, including their qualifiers run, one game where Tiny was either not picked or banned. Usually it's banned against them, or the other team has first pick and they pick the Tiny, or they pick the Tiny because they have first pick. That's how it's gone every single game except for one.
the capacity to flex into the offlane allows, which goonsquad is very comfortable with, right? I think maybe one of the teams that's most comfortable with that idea allows this here to be just a really easy first pick, right? Because they have run a carry as well before for Charlie, so it's not like it's exclusive, and even mid for Limp.
Yep.
It's not like it's exclusive to the offlane, but because they can do that, they always try to get it as soon as possible. And this time, because they have first pick, so first of all, I like the Chicken Fighter as the second pick, because this way, usually with second pick, you win 2 out of 3 lanes, right? Because you have last pick, of course. So usually you at least get to have a good mid lane matchup, plus one of the good side lanes if you're drafting properly. So great for them. However, goonsquad is taking advantage of this 8th pick really well, or 4th pick rather, sorry. For those of you who don't play Captain's Mode. Because they got the Stormer Spirit as opposed to the Shadow Shaman, which they could have gotten last game, right? Against the Undying. Yeah, Shadow Shaman is impactful, but using a 4 position as your 4th pick, not that great. You have 3 bans to protect it. Rather protect the Storm instead. And that way, goonsquad sets up for a pretty strong opening, even if it's 2 cores.
I do really like this Chicken Fighters opener as well, to be honest. I think they recognize goonsquad has a desire to flex Tiny to the offlane, something that maybe S4 prefers to play, given how much they've thrown it into the offlane, even in games where we both said, it would do well safe lane, but Aqua prefers different heroes. Morphlane is unpickable. That was the one game they actually did lose when they tried a Morphlane, so I don't think goonsquad's going back to that. But this Monkey King Undying lane versus Tiny is going to be very pain for Tiny. So maybe it ends up going safe lane, of course, with the Storm going mid. That's kind of the only other lane they can flex it to right now. And then you could pick something punishing, like, I don't know, a Veno, right, versus Monkey Undying, something like that.
That's the case, right? Like, the issue that Monkey and Dying face, if they both go to the safe lane, of course, is that they both do very similar things. They are melee heroes that hit you and can't be killed, right? So the counters to them are the same. If you pick a Viper, if you pick a Venomancer, like you suggested, hell, even a Necrophos, like, these heroes are all strong against the Monkey King and Dying duo. Snapfire, honestly, if you want to go the Beast Coast way. And Chicken Fighters can't really do much against them. Of course, the strength of this opener is that Monkey King can always be flexed as a 4. And that way, you can't completely commit as goonsquad to destroying that lane until you know that Chicken Fighters has committed this Monkey King into the carry position. So I like this opener too. I agree. Very, very good points. goonsquad. I do still think that Tiny should be carry regardless, though. I don't think they're going to play the Storm 4, which I have seen some people do. Hanskin was the guy who innovated Quap 4 and TI, so there's a person that's going to do it. It might be him, but I do think it's most likely Tiny mid for Limp.
Yeah, well, I think goonsquad, I'm only saying this because they have done it recently as well. goonsquad, before we see Tiny flexed, before we see Storm Spirit flex to the 4, we'd probably see the Tiny flex to a 4 first.
Yes, that's more normal. Yeah, sorry, I went for the crazy.
No. I mean, but you were in the right ballpark. I just had to guide you to the right section there, Avo. We got there now, though. We got there now. As Chicken Fighters will go for the Lina play then. And by the way, the same thing can be said for this Monkey King. Lots of teams have been playing him to great success. Kind of just utilizing the reduced downtime now on, was it the Primal Spring or the Tree Dance? So you can kind of just jump around to a ridiculous degree. Lots of teams using him to cut between the tier 2s and the tier 3s when they really need to, because Monkey is one of those kind of unique heroes like that has the ability to sneak around the map. So he can still be flexed.
Yep. For adding to the lineups, I really do like this Lina pick because the lane against Storm is good, and the mid game against Storm does suck a little bit, which is true. But with BKB, Lina can usually hold her own, and the strength of this pick is actually where the Tiny is going to go. Because you've canceled Tiny off lane, who's the best hero at dealing with Lina, or the Tiny 4, the 2 heroes that are good against Lina, you force them into a carry position most likely, and Lina deals really well with that kind of hero. So by doing that, Chicken Fight has kind of secured themselves dangerous or a riskier pick on the Lina that works well simply because they've already canceled this potential Tiny offlane. goonsquad though, there's Pexus. Well, I think his favorite hero, he told us, Jakiro.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely loves this hero. Got some decent buffs recently, and has been seeing a fair amount of play, both as a core and as a support.
I wonder where they're going.
This is definitely a support, though.
Yeah, I think it's a support, but
yeah,
if things get really funky in the draft, they might still decide to flex it. I don't know if it's within S4's wheelhouse, though. Man plays a lot of heroes. I don't know if I've ever seen him on a Jakiro, though. That might be a little bit too weird even for him. But we'll have to see, right? We'll have to see.
I do think if you pick it, Pexu's going to ask for it,
yeah,
no matter what. Right? I feel like he really loves that hero. He even told us last season that he barely... No, 2 seasons ago maybe? He barely gets chances to play the Jakiro, and that he always takes any chance he gets. And there's the Mars. Okay, so they define the Tiny as a carry or as a 4.
Or as a 4, right? It's definitely still having a flex. And once again, goonsquad just not scared of the Tombstone. But neither of these 4 heroes do well against Tombstone. And in fact, I might even say that they're pretty bad at hitting Tombstone. In fact, all of them.
Yep.
So that's still a pretty big concern I have for them. It didn't really pan out to be that big of a threat last game. I would say it did play a significant part in the few kills that Chicken Fighters were able to punish, right, on those overextensions that Goon Squad did make. Tombstone is still great for that, even when you're losing. But it doesn't really seem like Goon Squad are really concerned with the aggressive potential of the Tombstone right now.
Yeah, I mean, they could always, like, last pick up. I think a lot of 4s deal with the Tombstone, as you pointed out earlier, like the Mirana, for example. So you have a couple, Snapfire as well. You have a couple options as the last pick that go well with your squad as well. Because both Mirana and Snapfire are great here with Goon Squad, right? So you can combine that to deal with the Tombstone towards the end. I do feel like if you cancel the Undying early in the lane, the Tombstone doesn't seem like that much of a threat. So maybe that's what Goon Squad is going for instead.
And you've got a couple pretty mean lanes for him, no matter where he ends up going. Mars is a bit weak to him, but the Jakiro's damage over time can be quite annoying, especially because the Undying with the dots and with the slows will struggle to reach him, much like a Shaman we saw last game, especially if he can't get the bots and over corrosion. There's a strong lane, though, so it means that they will be flexing this Monkey King into a different lane that's not hard carry.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a 4 to me right now, honestly, on the Monkey King.
I would concur with that.
Which is fair, because Monkey King against Mars is a very bad lane. He could never get close enough to the Mars to hit the 4th, Jingle hit. And then, essentially, what's the point of picking Monkey King carry? Because you're not winning your lane. Even Undying is good against Mars. I don't think Monkey King recovers well enough. Lifestealer, on the other hand, brutal against Mars, incredible, and really good against Jakiro as well. They decided to go for Jakiro off. And Lifestealer also has a good core-to-core match against Tiny Carry. So it's kind of a win-win-win. And now if Goon Squad wants to really destroy this, they could pick up their own carry and then put the Tiny as a 4.
Yeah.
And actually, Chicken Fighters thinks that too. Honestly, I hate that I'm mentioning this, but I think Troll is pretty great here.
Oh,
kind of a freebie Troll game.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I will still say I don't like him either. I think I've seen him pretty high up on like Yatoro's hero tier list. I think he was even like A or B tier.
I think it was B. Yeah, I don't remember him at A, but I think it was B.
But even B was a lot higher than I thought he'd be, considering BB. But considering even how little of the hero we've seen for the past 2 years, it feels like. But still, maybe he's a little bit more on the unproven side, and this is one of those things where I say now, and then hard cut to the end of the season when we get a troll pick in the draft and we go, not another troll game, but I still kind of doubt it. Anyway, Chicken Fighters still have the opportunity to respond. I think this Monkey King offlane looks still somewhat viable if it is to be a tiny core. It's definitely scary with the magic burst that he possesses, but you could still be a little bit of a bully in the lane, especially because you could decide to last pick a position 4 to really punish it. Or you simply pick a better offlane matchup into whatever Goon Squad proposes. And this is the beauty of the last pick, of course, but I do think Chicken Fighters have a flexible enough draft to actually make this work. So I still think they have the opportunity to turn this around with the 24th or the last pick. So I'm really eager to see what Goon Squad picks first, right? Because that'll define it.
That's why I like the Troll particularly, because he's a hero that wins most lane matchups. I honestly can't think of offlaners that beat him, like destroy him in lane, right? So you always guarantee that safe lane, and that means that the last pick for Chicken Fighters is a little bit wasted, because Monkey King certainly can't, right? And then other offlaners that do well with him, there's like the Centaur's just fine. You can like Viper, which is okay, but none of them really destroy the Troll in lane, because that's the strength of the hero after all. The other, that's the option I was going to mention, because it's Charlie. He's a big Morphling player, good Tombstone Destroyer, good against Lifestealer for obvious reasons. And also okay laner. Yeah, so Morphling and Troll were the 2 heroes that were coming to mind.
So yeah, that's interesting. I would be surprised if Goon Squad decided to go for the Morphling again. The only reason I say that is because they tried it before, and even in Charlie's hands, Aqua's hands, it did not look good. Not his fault. The hero just didn't really feel amazing. But I still think it's
a bit too slow. I recall casting that one. It was like a really slow.
Yeah, I remember he went for like a casual carry Morphling, just like kind of stats, right? And it wasn't a bad idea. It was just really slow. So I don't know if they would have gone for it, but I do agree with you. The hero does look good in theory, right? Goon Squad, they will go with a Necro instead, so something a bit different. Ava, what are we looking at here? Is this a core tiny then? Core tiny and Necro?
No, it has to be Necro Carry.
Necro Carry, you reckon? Okay.
Right? Like the Matumba style Necro.
Okay.
I mean, this is not a a bad game for that. He is pretty good against Lifestealer. He deals well with Lina because usually Lina's mid. The magic damage build is kind of dead, right? So when you go Ghost Shot, Lina can no longer hit you, and usually she can't catch up to you, right? Because the beauty of Lina against like any sort of hero with Decrepify or any sort of etherealness is that Lina shoots like 15 projectiles that are all in the air, right? And then you Ghost Shot, you tank all of those projectiles, and all of a sudden Lina's past like 2 seconds are useless, right? So actually Necrophil's pretty good against her if she goes physical damage. And then the immediate Necro counter with a Doom, probably the hardest Necro counter you can find.
Doom dispels
it's
upon cast, so it does really hard.
So it is Necro 4?
Yeah, I was about to say, because then you don't have a carry. Like Storm is,
I think
Storm is not a carry, right? We've seen heroes, we've seen people try and do that, but he's not a carry.
Okay, Mars 3.
Yeah, so that's would have been really surprising. So it is going to be the S4 Necro offlane. I was wondering where they were going to lane the Necro. That's what I was kind of unsure of. Again, so it's going to be tiny safe lane. So they will decide to throw Era on the support Monkey King in the end. So it will be this offlane Doom into the tiny.
Not that sold, honestly, on this Goon Squad deviation, because I don't see the Necrophos as being that justifiable, right? Because, like, there's nothing the Necrophos does that is so amazing that you were forced to deviate the Mars into 4. Maybe they were thinking Mars sucks against Lifestealer, which he does, right? Mars Arena is equally as good, whether he's a core or whether he's a support, against Lina, for some reason.
True,
Necrophos.
very true.
And the lane is bad anyway because you're up against Undying, so you might as well pick someone that can deal with Undying in the lane. So I can kind of see where their logic is coming from, but I think it's more of Mars sucks right now than Necrophos is great right now, right? Like, I think they were more trying to force that Mars into the 4 position. Yeah. Because it's a really bad Mars game, which, fair enough, it is.
Yeah, and all the utility you're talking about on the Mars Arena, right, like you're saying, it's still true if he's a support or a core. Mars is also probably the second best hero of this game for Goon Squad to hunt this support Monkey King. That's something that Goon Squad will be very keen on doing, because that's the whole reason that I believe it was their Chillax game decided to go to 61 minutes in the first place. That's because Monkey cut wave after wave after wave after wave after wave, and Goon Squad did their best to ignore it, but it just became this big issue, you know, in their side eventually that they had to go back and deal with, and that's where Chillax almost took a game off of them. So we'll see how Goon Squad look to kind of adjust to that from their previous Monkey support encounters. I'm really curious to see how Era, because he's a support player I hold in very high regard as well. I want to see how he plays this as well, based on Goon Squad's previous matchups.
Era was one of the guys that I used to watch when he was playing Monkey King, and he was the I will never leave the trees Monkey King style, right? He was one of the first people to like do that together with a couple other 4s along the world, right? And it was the idea like he went to Athos or Orchid and he would just like stay in the trees forever. Nobody would ever catch up to him. He would have insane initiation. He reminded you of, I think Sinkyu used to play that way as well with Monkey King. Matthew as well from Thunder Awaken. There's a couple of Monkey King players that love that style, and I think those are my favorite Monkey Kings, right? Because to be able to play Monkey King to that degree of efficient on the trees, you need to have a lot of games in here.
Yeah, to say the least, as they will be breaking some smokes. Monkey's sixth sense right there. He didn't have vision on the high ground, but just didn't feel something was... Oh, well, his smoke broke, right? That would be why. So he's going to back off. He's going to try a different cliff, and there's Peksu and Aqua already waiting for him. There's going to be the dual breath slow. Aqua as well is going to throw the tree at him, which is also a slow. Era on the run. Hans going to toss in the spear. Not sure if it hit him, but it surely didn't stun him. Yeah, it didn't, because he tree danced away, and he's going to live.
Also took no damage, right?
Yep.
That's the biggest indicator.
I wasn't sure, honestly.
Yeah, because the first level 1 spear actually deals a fair amount of damage, actually. 100 damage is fair enough.
Not bad.
The cast range, though, is pretty bad. People don't really take into account this, but the spear actually does increase in cast range every level, right? So level 1 spear, really hard to land. 900 cast range is just a little bit too short. So Mars gets buffer, right, as he gets more levels in spear, so he can throw it further.
He can throw it further. That's why you gain strength on strength heroes, so you can throw the spear further.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So why can't the tree be thrown further is my question.
Could you imagine? Do we really need to be buffing Tiny right now, Alvaro?
I think this hero looks pretty weak right now in the meta. He's only been picked in 90% of matches because he's banned in the rest of them.
He's only been picked in like 13 of 14 Goon Squad games. I mean, come on. The Goon Squad, do they really know what they're doing? I mean, what, 1 TI winner underneath the games, you know?
Yeah, honestly. I don't know. I have very little confidence in this team, honestly. No, but A tiny pick here. I think it ended up being pretty good. I like the Doom idea, and I think you have a lot of percentage damage against a tiny. But I still find that, as you mentioned, because the hero's so strong right now, he's still gonna be able to hold his own. And Storm and Necrophos both can cover the tiny really easily. They're both heroes that scale well, and they're both heroes that can become your win condition if the late game allows it to.
Also, just one difficulty I think for Shibe this game is who exactly he wants to be dooming in each of these fights, because there's a lot of good Doom targets. Basically two, right? The Storm and the Necro are both amazing good Doom targets, as they will get.
They get, yeah, first blood with auto attacks, honestly. They did spear him back on Bengen, but afterwards they just punished him with constant auto attacks by Hanskin. Mars has really good base stats, particularly his damage, so you gotta be a bit careful. Similar to Shaman, you just really, as Undying, you're just vulnerable to these heroes with high attack damage, even if decay hits them, because you just don't have the greatest armor as Undying.
Yeah, and neither does Mars. You're right, he's only got the 2, now 3 armor, but you don't have a lane to really take advantage of that unless Koma decides to spec into the Orb of Corrosion, which at this stage doesn't have it in the quick buy. Phase boots immediately into the armlet. I think he wants to probably get out of this lane sooner rather than later. S4, as Necros will want to do, is going to become very annoying quite quickly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Orb of Corrosion on Lifestealer because I feel like usually the issue that you have is not the lane, right? So you're already adding a lot. Like if you got Orb of Corrosion, say on a PA, for example, that's usually her weakness, right? She's not going to dominate the lane. Orb of Corrosion all of a sudden gives her kill potential pre-6, which is a big deal, right? But for Lifestealer, it's just more of the same. So if you're going to dominate your lane, fantastic, go for it and like really, really harp on that laning experience. But if not, you will already struggle at farming. Don't add an extra 1,000 gold obstacle to that farming speed, right?
Supreme.
I like his rushing build particularly.
I agree with you. Supreme is doing a pretty good job in this mid lane. Of course, doesn't really look that way because of all the regen that there is this meta. As what the heck is Doom? Shibe, he took a very big detour. I wonder if he wanted a different creep, but he's got the mana burn now. As in the mid lane, Limp is going to live thanks to the grace of Fairy Fire. Supreme's going to go diving now. And not find Limp. He's going to catch him on the ward, as the Static Remnant does give vision for the tower to hit Supreme a second time, but Limp will be fine here. Finds himself a water bottle. He'll be A-okay. Top lane looks like a bit of a spar as they go on to S4, and they will actually catch him here. The sampler build for the Lifestealer 1-1-1 enables them to actually close the gap, and with even a level 1 tombstone, they have enough move speed slow to run down the Necro.
The Necro does suffer sometimes against these melee matchups like Ursa and Lifestealer if they can slow him down enough, right? You have to really utilize the Ghost Shot at the perfect time. Of course, pre-Ghost Shot is even harder, right? But some heroes do have the capacity of just diving towers and bringing you down regardless in the lane, which is one of the difficulties he has. It was like the Necro-Ursa matchup, which in theory should be really good, but when the Ursa's buff enough, actually feels like a really bad matchup for the Ursa. Sorry, for the Necro, because of similar reasons as the Lifestealer. The thing is, Lifestealer lacks the burst damage though, so I think once he hits level 4, S4 should be able to destroy this lane.
And mid lane, having to take a trip home to refill his bottle was Limp. None of his supports dying quite yet, so no one could TP in for the free refill. So it's a free wave of experience for the Lina. Shibe taking a lot of harass with Liquid Fire as well as the Tree Slow. He's down to 133 move speed, which is painful. You can't go below 100, but the closer you get to 100, the more emotional damage you take, because it's awful.
So is CM just perpetually leaking her emotions in the game?
I mean, isn't she? Have you ever laned with a CM with a Sven? She's just, I mean, come on, CM. You got to be more subtle, sweetheart.
That is, no, you mean like her love,
yeah.
Her love emotions, right?
All of her emotions are out.
No, I always thought CM was a sociopath, so I don't think she has emotions, if I'm honest with you. Sibe, in the bottom lane, Era jumps onto this. Beautiful, actually. You got 2 heroes with that, and they don't seem concerned about his damage. And apparently they're right to not be concerned, because Shiba's dying to Pexu. Pexu's beating him. Wow, this is why he likes to play Jakiro, the true core of the early game. Yep. He gets the kill before the Doom can get the experience there. So a really big deal. In addition to, of course, a good trade overall.
Top lane, they might actually look to turn onto Koma as they dispatch of the Tombstone. S4 with a big old Death Pulse there. It's going to scare Koma back. But yeah, no, that was an excellent kill. Doom no longer with the slowest base attack time in the game. I think he got buffed to like 1.7, and actually Hoodwink claims that title with a base attack time of 2. But
wild, by the way.
Yeah.
How long does that crossbow take to recharge? My God.
Quite a bit. But of course, Doom's attack speed is still horrendous, nonetheless. Yep. So even the attack speed slow on Dual Breath without even Liquid Fire is very painful for Shibe.
Yes. Should we point out though that Liquid Fire it does not reduce attack speed as much as it would to a normal BAT, right? Because that's how it works. Both increase in attack speed and the reduction in attack speed don't work as much for you. But like you said, he's just so slow that it becomes kind of ridiculous. Hanskin kills Bengen by just chasing him down. Koma's really suffering, and you can tell by the fact that S4 hasn't felt the need to take a single point and go Shroud.
Yeah.
That is a bad sign for Lifesteal.
Yeah, he's basically just living off of the Death Pulse, the Heartstopper Aura regeneration it's on now that he's getting from each CS. And he's got plenty of CS, and he's 35-7, even leading his own safe lane Tainu, who's having a pretty strong lane himself.
It's scary when these things when this happens though, because Necrophos, the 1 point in Ghost Shard actually slows his farming a fair amount, but if he is not forced to do that, all of a sudden this hero is free to snowball.
Might be
mid
dead
lane, yeah, Supreme. I think dual breath is enough. I think he's just gonna die to it. Hit him with Liquefire just in case. And Peksu, the core killer. That deserves a tip. This man has been absolutely an atrocious
top lane
hero for
Chicken Fighters. They drop another Tombstone. This time it is level 2, but once again, Hanskin wastes no time taking it down, and S4 looks to turn 3 points now with the Death Pulse as the Spear from Hanskin will secure the kill onto Bengen. That kill is going to give him 6 stacks now of the Heartstopper regen, which means he's basically back to full HP. Koma is still being ran down from the lane by the support Mars. By the way, this is a hero that Lifestealer counters.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not your support, right? I mean, genuinely though, because you can't concentrate on the Mars' Spears and God's Rebukes when you have to deal with a Necrophos.
Shibe is slow to a crawl by the Avalanche, even if he has the Scorched Earth active level 2. Peksu and Aqua, they just don't care.
Sorry! Oh, bro, he hit him with a sorry there because he stole the last hit. That's the level that Peksu is thinking about. This man, oh wow, he's even thinking about his other cores while he's murdering the enemy team.
Yeah, well, he's got to be a little bit careful here because now he does have a killing streak online, so he's going to feed a little bit of gold. Actually, no, he doesn't. It's only the 2. And Hanskin's just going to TP. Where are your stuns? He says. You have... Oh.
Hanskin just banned the TP so you get the Reaper Sight though.
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay, that is incredible. That was really good. That was an Ice level play, honestly. This is the troll TP they used to do very often.
And S4 is going to take the tower. He's going to secure the kill. He's back to full HP, full mana after that. He has already 1 stack of the Reaper Scythe permanent regen, which is not an insane amount, but given it's so early on in the game and he has 3 extra HP regen and 1 permanent mana regen, it helps.
And dude, Necrophos is not supposed to be a fast pusher, right? Like, he sort of pushed the lane, but he's not supposed to take tier 1 this quickly.
They're killing Shiva again! Peksu, if you steal this kill, you're kicked, says Aqua.
Oh, Peksu, he's body blocking. He might have to steal it. He has to. Peksu takes it. He will die as a result, though, and he will fade a killing spree over to the Monkey King. This is because he stole all these kills. So is Peksu really playing that well?
Supreme dies mid, though. Was that an arena? It wasn't. Okay, he had level 6 off of the kill.
Never mind, you're right.
It was simply just limp jumping into a spear. So it's still an impressive kill. And I mean, I would say this game is looking very similar to game 1, but it's actually not, Avo. It's looking worse for Chicken Fighters.
Yeah, because the lanes themselves are not going that badly, but Peksu's rotations are making them all go terrible.
And Hanskin is just being such a bully to Koma. He's throwing spears in here. S4 and Hanskin are leeching XP.
He's a higher level in this lifestealing, man.
He's gonna arena? Is he gonna arena?
Yeah, he can't. There's still a rage. There we go. They force it. Now
there's an arena.
Oh no! Koma's gonna die in this arena. He can't do anything. He has not hit level 6 yet. Mars is more experienced than him.
Oh man.
My god. Now, okay, who's gonna reach level 6 first? Peksu or
and look, they're just gonna close the door. Here comes S4. The rest of Goon Squad straight onto Supreme. There's a Reaper Scythe in 8 seconds. They don't even need it for the kill onto the Lina. Ira is gonna die even before it's off cooldown. I mean, this is turning into a shellacking.
Can you show levels for a second now, just to show the fact that Lifestealer's level 5. He's the lowest experienced in the game. Both supports on the main team are beating him. A goddamn Mars support is beating him. This is absurd. This is a shellacking. Even though the difference, I think, is actually around the same as last time, it's a bigger shellacking than last time. This is a game tier shellacking.
I don't believe the difference is it's much bigger than last time. I don't believe they I mean, this is...
Were they not at 6K?
No.
Or was the 6K a bit further?
6K was much further in, yeah. I mean, last game was rough for Chicken Fighters, but this is like a 6K lead is on a whole different level, I would say. Checking in on net worth, I mean, it's... You rarely see this 4 heroes above 1, and they're going to make another jump on the Koma. There's another Reaper Sight. Do they have the nuke damage?
Oh my god.
I mean, okay, hold on. Hold on, they're back on the Undying. He's just dead. I mean, at the very least for Koma, Reaper Sight no longer increases your death timer.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so you can go back to farming. And his death timer is really low, actually, because he's really low level, because he can't ever get experience. Because whenever it's not being sapped, he's just straight up dying.
This game has just turned into pain, though, hasn't it?
Yes, yes. As we say in my home country, it's Spain without the S, right?
Well, Spain, but the S is silent.
Ah, yes. That's how Spaniards pronounce it, actually. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about the Korjuk hero. I feel like we're seeing it just from the support position at this point. The Mars doesn't feel like a 4 either with the amount of experience he's gotten. Supreme has been cancelled. He's going for BKB before the trial boots. Hanskin's going to go for another one. Look at these two supports. They don't even need any cores. They're self-sufficient. And they're showing this is the revolution of the positions. Rise up, my support brethren.
And they just know to make that rotation. Like, yes, they're 7k ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, they have a significant XP advantage. These are two supports who have basically equal experience with the mid lane Lina. Like, yes, they're very far ahead. No one's denying it. But to make that rotation without vision, just knowing, it's incredible. And this Ice Path, it's beautiful. It's going to catch two. Shibe has a Doom. I mean, he might just cast it on Hanskin. No, they don't need it. Right? Maybe they did need it. Hanskin running.
I think they do.
From Mira. He's got.
I think he'll live.
He's got a tree dance, right? There's no way.
He still has he has TP in like. He has Soul Ring.
He has TP and mana, but.
Yeah, he has to use the Soul Ring for the TP. Okay, Hanskin will finally die. At least they caught him.
400 gold to Coma. Listen, that's not going to recover this game on its own, but you know, that's the first baby step on the way. Just
Okay,
hoping that.
Now go to the levels again, Richie, just for a second. Yeah. Everyone on Goon Squad is above Chicken Fighter's experience. Everyone. Every single person.
Yeah, net worth at the very least has begun to look a little bit more normal. It's still certainly one-sided. By no means am I denying that, but we at least have cores above enemy supports, so that's a good sign for Chicken Fighters. And, well, until minute 15, because Aqua has had an insanely free game. I mean, this man is so free. Not only does he have a full Echo Saber and Power Treads, he might finish up this Shadow Blade and still have money for the Shard at 15, the way that this game's going for him. This is so much farm.
Oh my god, that's very true, actually. But let's not forget the most fun hero on the
Supreme.
map, Mr. Necrophos. Oh. Yeah, another kill just from the two supports again. They're not even using any resources for this, just the supports ganking. Mars playing like an offlaner at this point as Lim joins in. He's a double damage. Tombstone gold for Hanskin. They're going to go for the Undying. They got his Tombstone. Now they take the real one. Undying. Oh, they try to Doom the Storm. Try to get the double damage away, but for now it's impossible. They play with Shiba's life. But Pexu could be in trouble here. He has one last Ice Path. That's going to be his dying will, allowing them to get the kill on Shibe. Even from the grave, Pexu is a useful core.
Yep, and that's 3 stacks now on the permanent regeneration. Necro, hold on, let's wait for this one Heartstopper regen or at a timeout. And he has a Sanj already, which does buff his regen, of course. 9 HP regen, 3 mana regen already. He's sitting at 24 HP regen without any stacks of the Heartstopper regen aura. And again, just to highlight, I mean, these kills look easy onto Supreme, mostly because they are at this stage, given the net worth and experience lead. But there's no wards aiding this. This is just simple map knowledge. This is just Goon Squad being good at Dota. What do you do? Yes. How do you get back in this game as Chicken Fighters? It seems like all your recovery mechanisms, every single play you try and make to get back into this game, Goon Squad are one step ahead of you. They're just waiting for you there.
Yeah, I don't know how you get back to this game, because you don't have the best lineup for that either. Like, Lifestealer is meant to be a snowball carry, the Undying is meant to be a snowball support, Doom is not particularly the best ganking squad. Like, Doom is a really powerful ability, but too long a cooldown to consider this part of a hunting squad, right? And also, no slow on the Doom, or any stuns, right? I mean, Inferno Blade, whatever. So, because of that, you can Doom someone, but how do you catch up to them? They can just run away from you at this point.
Hanskin has Blink already, by the way. It was a 1330 Blink. It took the courier a long time to deliver it. This is not a bad time, even for an off-lane Mars. Yes, he doesn't have the off-lane items, right? He's Tranquil Boots are cheaper. He only got the Soul Ring. Doesn't have additional stats, like not quite an armlet, right? But like double Bracer is quite normal these days. But still, 13-minute Blink Dagger on support Mars? Yes, please.
Especially you compare to the Lina, who still hasn't gotten her first item. Couldn't go for Travel Boots, like I mentioned earlier. She has to go for the straight BKB. I think that's the right choice, but it's a very desperate one.
It is desperate, but it's the only choice, really, I think they have. And there's Blink.
This is why she's desperate, by the way, because of these constant arenas into the Macropod. Ice Path as well. They keep her pinned to the arena, but she doesn't quite die. Lifestealer comes in for reinforcements. Pexu's committing for this kill. They have Doom the Necrophos, though. S4 in trouble.
Nice to save Lina.
Murdered Pexu, and that's going to be S4 falling as well.
Big kill.
Good counter initiation here for Chicken Fighters. But Storm decides to join in. He knows there's no Doom, which means Lim has a chance to kill all 3, perhaps. Is he the cleanup squad they were looking for? God's able to slow him down. The stun misses, and that means Shib is going to die. The next to die will be Era. Killed off. Oh, there we go. Killed off with a static remnant. As Hanskin decides to TP in the face of Lifestealer. This one's a real one. He's gonna go back home.
Yeah, he's going back home, and no stuns here remaining, despite the Lifestealer having decent damage. Lifestealer, Hukoma, by the way, he's gone for the recovery Midas. Not a bad idea, you know?
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I agree.
It is.
Because, like,
go ahead.
The difficulty and why recovery Midas is important versus, say, a Maelstrom is that Maelstrom requires map control, right? Because you farm faster, but you need the creep camps.
Yeah.
So if you clear all your camps in little time, and then all of a sudden you have nothing to do, Maelstrom is useless. Whereas Midas literally creates gold out of these creep camps.
Yep.
So it's probably the best item when you're losing by this much.
Okay, they tried to smoke up, but Aqua and Hanskin were right there. I was just showing this replay, and I did want to commend Koma as well for joining that fight, right? Because he was instrumental in making sure that Lina actually lives and making that, although they lose the supporting staff, still a pretty decent fight, an acceptable fight when you're down 10k at 15 minutes in.
Yep.
That's 4. Has Shard already, so that's 1 Shard to purchase. Deathseeker, it's a good one. Tiny, not quite at Shard, but he's not going to be too far behind my prediction. Only needing, well, just 1 more creep, really, and he's got it. Whew. So yeah, he is very farmed, finally overtaking S4 in terms of the team's net worth leader and the game's net worth leader even at that. Hanskin has another Blink Arena at the ready. It's still Arena level 1, but it's not really your biggest concern. Mostly just using it for the setup and the catch.
They can still kill Monkey Q for free. Oh, they should have noticed. Okay. Hanskin.
And this,
biding his time.
This ward's going to time out right in front of Era, and he's going to be pretty upset. He has a sentry down, but they just missed it. It's a pretty well-placed ward. Pardon me for Goon Squad.
Yeah, there you saw it.
Yeah.
He just pinged it.
Yeah, he's like,
I had the sentry. Yeah, exactly. You could guess exactly what's going through Era's mind.
Yeah. That's kind of frustrating because as a support, like, there are very few ways you can really, truly outplay the enemy supports like that, but Era just knows he's been outplayed right there.
Yep, with a good ward position. And that's for every support, of course. Each hero has its own individual outplay, but as a support player, you mean, right? That position, Now they're going to go for the Roche.
Can they do this,
because
though?
I think so. You have Shard in the Tiny now.
It's slow.
And the Liquid Fire helps you. It is very slow, though. But the enemy team kind of lacks team fight besides the Doom. It's more single target oriented.
That's true, but they do have the Doom ready.
Oh, Macropar has been used a bit early.
I'm not sure. Pexu should know that doesn't break trees anymore, and he does. He's the one that told us that it's even a little bit better that it doesn't break trees. So they knew that wasn't going to stun the Monkey King.
I don't think he was trying to break the trees there. I think he was trying to deal damage. I think he was trusting his teammates to stun him with the spear.
I think they tried to break it with the ball lightning, perhaps.
Oh, I didn't see. I thought it was a spear actually they were trying to use because I thought I saw Mars using the animation. Because I think with Monkey King it spears you right to the tree you're on. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I wasn't sure. That makes that.
But yeah, I'm sure he knows he doesn't play trees. Have you seen him play this Jakiro? Do you think there's something he doesn't know about?
No, for sure.
Yeah, this man's a god.
It just seems like he laid down the Macropire with the expectation that something was going to stun the Monkey King.
Yeah. And they decided to stop doing the Roach. A lot of wasted time here by Goon Squad, honestly, considering the tempo we've seen until now. But they can also take a chill pill. It's not like this game is going to go bad if this goes a bit longer. Much like last game, right?
Very true. Shibe as well, he's not going to scale too nicely this game. Lots of Dooms. More the mid lane Dooms, but even still off lane Dooms do prefer to go the Midas before BKB to ensure that they continue scaling better into the game. Not quite the case for him. He's going to be forced, just like his Lina, to head straight into the BKB. Good news for him, he's almost got it. He needs 3k gold in his bank to have the BKB. With these 2 components he's lacking. Supreme has it, and now has a secondary item coming. Is it a Crystallis? It's just a Clarity. He still needs gold for the Crystals, but they're going to kill her.
Bottom. Yeah, Lina has to use the BKB, try to TP. Is there enough damage? They throw the tree, and oh my god, Aqua really mashed that Lina down.
Yeah.
That feels really bad. 9-second BKB used for a TP, and it fails.
Yeah.
Like, oof. There's the emotional damage we were talking about. She's being forced to go for a Shadow Blade. That's going to be her substitute to a degree for the Boots of Travel. Both the movement speed, the mobility in general, the capacity of initiation, and also what they need right now, which is someone that can cut waves. Shadow Blade will help her out with that.
True. I'm surprised they're not throwing Era on that duty quite yet. He's doing a good job at scouting enemy movements. I will say I haven't noted this yet before, but he's always constantly been like in this tree, in these trees mid lane, sometimes in this. He's done a good job. Just always letting his team know where the enemies are. And unlike a lot of other heroes, it's hard to know when a monkey's actually watching you. In fact, scientists have proven, Jane Goodall has proven that half the time there's always a monkey watching you guys. So, look out.
Actually, Richie, Jane Goodall studied apes, not monkeys.
Oh, did she?
Did she? Yeah. I learned that from my good co-captain, She Can Strike. I'm glad that she's become a good part of our cast. She's a very valuable part of the scientific community.
Yeah, she is. Yes, absolutely.
Doom just got the BKB. This might be the time to fight for chicken fighters, but we did see a smoke though from Goon Squad. That smoke immediately is
broken
taken
by
away
Ira.
from the Monkey King.
That's how you know if a monkey's watching you. You smoke.
Indeed, yeah. Sometimes the monkey smokes, it's very confusing. There's the arena still available, but he doesn't want to use it again. It breaks trees. I feel like on a 4 you can force it more, but they don't really want to do it.
They still,
Aegis on Aqua.
They still wouldn't have scouted him there as well by that jump. Normally you do see Monkey when he jumps from tree to tree, but only if he's on your level. He was above them, so that he didn't see it. Obviously, Goon Squad didn't see that, rather.
Oh, right. So like the tree has to be on your
terrain level
of
correct.
ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you jump to a tree on the low ground and you're on the high?
They would see
you
you
see
then.
when he gets
Yeah,
it?
they would. They would see you in air.
Right.
Yeah, Dota's very interesting with the way that terrain works. I think it's one of the coolest parts about Dota 2, to be honest, and the way that Vision interacts with it. I really appreciate that aspect, which is why I was really hoping for a map change, but we don't need to get into that.
Yes, it's okay. But I also would like to see a terrain change in general. Or a hero that interacts with the terrain would be really cool. Like, I know Monkey is like one of those to a degree, but I would love to see a hero that like could interact with high ground, for example. I love the Slaughter change, for example, of the Ghost of Haze.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, back into the game. Right now, the Goon Squad, they're in a kind of an awkward position. Not that they're losing, but they're like, they don't want to lose this lead by any means, so they have to play the most defensive way possible. And that's taking over the enemy triangle. There's the right play. BKB is up on the Doom, though. They're going to stop the Life Stealer for now. Reaper Sight Fuse, they lack the damage. Nope. He's been bursted. That's Coma down. Lena's still alive, though, and they do get the Doom off. This time onto S4. He's quite tanky, however, with Akai and Sanj. Monkey King will be destroyed as the two supports died together. It's gonna be
Everyone's getting ready to deny S4.
As opposed to killing the Tombstone first. S4 retaliates with his own Ghost Scepter, or his own, what's it called?
Ghost Shroud.
No, that's Seeker. There you go. To stop the Jakiro from actually taking the ward down. I didn't even see the Lina die, by the way. She looked like collateral there. Like, Aqua just went in and just murdered her by accident almost. Bunching up against a Tiny, maybe not the best of options, honestly.
Yeah,
and also, when you smoke from low to high ground, man, like, I get it. You're desperate, so it's hard to say if this is just like a desperate move trying to make something happen, but smoking from low to high ground when you're losing, I don't think that's ever going to work.
Yeah, and Lina was BKB'd because I also didn't see what Lina died to be completely honest. Lina died to just the right-click damage from Aqua. He has a full Silver Edge, which is the guaranteed crit, and an Echo Saber, so he doesn't care about no BKB right now. He is just much too powerful with level 3 toss, sorry, with level 3 grow, pardon me. 385 damage to crit off of is an extremely dead Lina.
And talk about the dead Lina. There's no Blink here, so they can't quite catch up to her. Blink is up on the handskin, but it has no arena, and the angle's not the best. Never mind. Lina stayed there a bit too long.
Aqua's gonna say hello.
He's just gonna beat her.
Yep.
BKB for what?
That's what happened last time to Supreme, and this tiny hero, he needs buffs, doesn't he? Throw the tree farther.
Yeah, pretty weak. And obligatory statement that we always say towards this part in the late game. Yes, Life Stealer's a good core-to-core matchup against Life Tiny. No, not if he's 10k behind, right? Or in this case, 6k. Yeah. It's impossible to beat that. You kind of have to stay a la par with Tiny.
Well, it's not quite 10k, but it's also more than 6k, right? Because it's Hand of Midas is 2k gold of recovery.
Yeah, so what, like, can we settle on 7k? Is that,
yeah, we'll settle for like 7, because the attack speed's still good. They see Ira, and they're going to pull him down for the tree.
That was cute. He ball lightning just below the tree, just so he couldn't break it, so he could get him with Electric Vortex instead.
Does ball lightning not break trees? I could have sworn it did.
No, he just didn't reach the tree.
Ah, okay.
He just didn't reach the tree. Yeah. If you go right behind the tree, like right where the tree is positioned, and not through it, then it won't break.
No, there's
Jakiro has 4 staff because he realizes his Storm doesn't want to break trees, so he's going to do it instead.
There is a DD in the river. I don't even know if Goon Squad need it, but that would be just, if they wanted to choose violence right now, they could.
Life Stealer's choosing to escape, but I don't think that choice was part of it.
There's a Reaper Sight as well.
Oh, okay. They decide to escape as well. They don't choose violence. They choose mercy.
Well, they choose mercy for now, but Aqua chose violence as he does 1,600 damage to the creep wave with the TD rune active at 25 minutes.
Does he just walk forward? I think he just does that, right? Like BKB, and you just walk forward.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Infernal Blade's super annoying for him. It's a very good ability, especially if they can get level death online, which they have actually. They purchased the shard, level death. It's back.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Tidy doesn't really care though. He has the Aegis. He's probably going to double damage, force him to kill him in his first life. maybe overcommit by doing so. 30 seconds to that Aegis to finish. Oh, that's going to be Lina dead. Beautiful arena once again. They're going for the supports. Undying. This is going to experience death as the Doom still available here for Shibe, but honestly, a Doom won't save you from this team fight. Aqua, again, still has Aegis. They Doom him now, so they better
7 seconds on Aegis? They might have this perfectly.
They might. They gotta
deny him. Deny him. Goonsquad.
Deny him, quick.
They did it. They denied him. They did.
And that means the Aegis is up, and that means he's back to full HP. They didn't consider that part. Aqua outplaying the enemy. They bring down Era. In comes the Storm. Limp's out of mana, though. Gets hit by the Laguna Blade. Limp, again, is out of mana, so Aqua has to help with a toss. Hanskin, Yosef to the Lifestealer here. They miss the stuns. They hit him with the Ice Path, though. The Spear into the Vortex, and that's going to be Koma finally falling down as they hit the Death Seeker, and the GG is called. Chicken Fighters get destroyed for a second game in a row. Goon Squad a bit too strong.
I love these like really silly interactions in pro games where everyone's like, you hit him. Well, we'll hit him then, you know? Goon Squad, they decide to do it themselves with just seconds, not even, I think, to spare. I just want to take another look at this here. What was that timer at? 3, 2, 1. I mean, they just barely got that, Avo. They just barely got that deny off.
I also like that a lot because it was clear that they took a couple of seconds to think of that plan of like, wait, we can deny him and trigger the Aegis. And once that happened, they all went onto the Tiny. You've never seen a team more coordinated to get a kill on their own teammate. Wonderful play. Great way to end what was honestly kind of a stompy game. It was the goofy plays were really fun. I think Goon Squad made this game fun overall. Like the TP, the troll TP from the Mars. Pexu as a whole, that final play as well. But ultimately, they were a little bit above Chicken Fighters in terms of playstyle. I think it's hard to chalk up 2 games like these to drafts. There are a fair amount of mistakes by Chicken Fighters. Maybe game 1 really affected their psyche. It's hard to say. But the lanes, both games, got absolutely demolished. And this time, I don't think